Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, 320 Sim Pilot. I'm a real-world airline pilot, and in today's video I'm going to be talking through with you about the news we have for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, what's happened since the launch, and what are they doing in the near future about the sim, and what updates and new aircraft can we expect for it. There's been quite a lot of news because the developers put up a live stream a day or so ago on Twitch, and in that they answered a lot of these questions. So we're going to have a quick talk about the news we found out, just a bit of a summary of the things that stood out to me in today's video. Thank you so much to the team at Microsoft Flight Simulator and Asobo for putting that video or that live stream together. They're being very communicative with us as a community, and they understand our frustrations about what happened at the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So in today's video we'll just talk through it, and you can enjoy some B-roll footage of me doing some very bad firefighting in the Canada in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So to start with, and I don't want to dwell on the launch too much because I've already made a video on it, but it's clear that they're not happy with how the launch went, and they've been very, very open and apologetic about that. One of the frustrations we all had was, of course, we could not get into the simulator. They've gone into a bit more detail about what happened there. They say that it wasn't down to the client or the servers. It was actually, I believe, I don't understand, I'm not a software programmer, I believe it's the connection between them that got overwhelmed with requests or something like that. I don't know. They changed it around. It didn't quite work out when they changed it a few times, and then they seem to have cracked it now. And I think that's representative of the state that we're in at this point. You know, we're a few weeks into Microsoft Flight Simulator now, and I can get access every time. Every time I log in, it works, which is great. The simulator lets me in a reasonable time as well. The loading time is reduced from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Presumably that's down to having less stuff in there. I don't know, because of course there's less data on your actual machine, which gives us that nice small install size. So that's been good news, and they do talk in this stream about reasons why they have it set up like that, which is understandable, and it allows them to update things. Like they can fix bugs in aircraft now without us having to have an update to the sim, because they update it on their side, on the server side, and then when you pull that data, it's fixed. That's a really interesting way of doing it, and it is convenient, because one of the big problems in Flight Simulator 2020 for me was that whenever I wanted to sit down and run it, if I'd had a week away from it or a couple of weeks, there was a high chance that I had to sit there and update it, which would take time, and it made it quite difficult to make videos at times. So I can see how that could be advantageous. I'm still concerned. I still want access to aircraft on my computer. They do say that's coming for certain aircraft. We've yet to see how that will be implemented and when. There's been a further delay to the store. We're not getting the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace quite as quickly as we thought, but that is all being worked through. Speaking about having the aircraft downloaded locally, they did say in this stream that if you wanted to have the whole of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 Standard Edition installed in your computer, it would be 1.4 terabytes, and that is an issue, isn't it? I mean, I can see why they've gone with this route if it's going to be that huge, because at 1.4 terabytes, and this is partly to do with the number of airplanes, isn't it? There's so many, because we've got loads of new aircraft in the Standard Edition. It's going to be 1.4 terabytes, which is obviously, that's larger than my individual drives on my laptop that I run the sim on for making a lot of these videos. It's larger than most of my individual drives on my desktop as well. So I wouldn't even have somewhere to install it, let alone start recording it. So I can see why they've gone down this route, and it's very good of them to be so open with us about it. So let's keep our fingers crossed for being able to install specific aircraft. Let's say it's an aircraft you use all the time. It'd be great to just have that in the sim, ready to load up and go, instead of having to wait and have it stream in, because it is a continuous frustration, of course, especially if the internet is not going to be perfect. Sebastian, who's the Asobo CEO, does indeed say that we're going to be able to choose, like, let's say an airplane you want to fly, your favorite aircraft, or you have an airport you always fly from. You'll be able to choose whether you have it never available, whether you stream it, or whether you have it downloaded, so you don't need it sort of constantly being streamed in. And likewise, if you're then going to go to somewhere with low internet, you can download a few airplanes or maybe some scenery and have that ready to go. So I'm really looking forward to that feature. That's going to be especially useful for me when I'm trying to make videos while traveling. It's going to be really, really important that I can have access to it without having to rely on hotel Wi-Fi. So that is a good thing. I appreciate I'm actually probably not in the majority of users there who travel using Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, but I'm imagining there's lots of people with internet that does vary throughout the day. It's not always perfect, who would like that option as well. So let's move on to the future then. What are they looking to do? Because that's what the update was really about. So we talked about the launch and what we think of it, how we want the sim to be for us, but things that they're looking into, I'll put up the bugs that they're looking into on the and this is done by votes actually. So I'm putting this onto the screen for you. One of the most important ones, or the top one, was too bright, unrealistic, over-exaggerated airport and night lighting. Now, I haven't flown much at night because I mostly make my videos in the day. Funny thing is, the lights are pretty extreme. Even in the daylight, if you fly into a cloud, you can see them sort of glaring in the cloud. I quite like the effect, but I can see that it's not entirely realistic. More for me is going to be the fact that the actual light bulbs themselves also aren't bright enough. So in a weird way, you've got super bright lights, but you can't see them. It just looks a bit odd to me. So they are partially fixing that with the next patch. So they've got a few of these things fixed in the next patch, including the Cessna 172 classic electrical systems. Wind and turbulence in career mode is ridiculous. Well, wind and turbulence is also ridiculous in free flight. The turbulence is too strong, so I'm hoping that gets sorted. And they've also fixed a few other little things, including the PC-24, which is completely broken. It is indeed. I tried to fly that in my recent video where I flew every new aeroplane in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in my Premium Deluxe video of that, where I flew all the new Premium Deluxe aircraft. I tried the 24. Looks lovely. Doesn't work. Completely broken, which is a shame. So that is being fixed because it's quite important they have those premium aircraft working because obviously you pay extra for those, so it's particularly frustrating. But yeah, then there's a few other things under investigation that they're going through in there. I quite like that they put up the H125 trim doesn't function, and they're saying our variation has no trim. There's always what happens with pilots if we eventually go too far when we don't realise something like that. But yeah, there we go. So that's the first page they've given us so far. The next one, which is a bit lower, a bit of the larger scale, is to have full download availability of aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Well, that's what I've already talked about. They've talked about it as well. It's in progress. So that's good. That's good news. That's really excited for that because we want those airplanes available, don't we? They're also partial planning for making cloud streaming optional, but we'll see how that goes indeed. One I quite like is start a flight without having to be in the walk around mode, because I agree, I don't particularly like doing the walk around every flight. I just use it sometimes to look around the outside of the airplane. And it's quite nice. I mean, a lot of my videos I start like that, but yeah, I can see it's frustrating for people just wanting to jump in and fly instead of having to find the door to actually just start in the flight deck. I think that would be a nice option to have. What they're also going to fix is to download things from the marketplace. That's coming in patch 3. Yeah, there's some more things under investigation in there to come along, including add beards. You can see in this list as well. Please improve cloud turbulence, icing, and weather in general. I haven't experienced the icing very much. The icing in 2020 was terrible at launch. It was absolutely ridiculous. It made no sense at all, and they did get rid of it, which is good. Now, the cloud turbulence. I don't know about the cloud turbulence. I haven't seen the cloud turbulence be a problem, but in my experience, the clear air turbulence, the turbulence from the ground, has been absolutely way too extreme. Like I say, I've had to turn it right down from realistic, so hopefully they'll fix that. But yeah, that's all under investigation. A lot of work on the career mode. I have not used the career mode yet in the sim. It's not really my sort of thing, and I don't think many of my audience are particularly into the career mode. I know a lot of people have been commenting how broken it is. But you tell me in the comments if you think career mode is important to you. Let me know. Let me know if you want me to see me take on the career mode. I don't know. I don't know what you feel about that. They then had a section from Working Title, and this was really interesting because the Working Title team have done an amazing job in Flight Simulator 2024, and there's no denying the credibility of the simulator has been raised infinitely by the work done in this side of it. And what I'm talking about here is the flight planning and the charts. What a privilege. They've got a partnership with Lido, and the Lido charts are available in the sim, and it's something I didn't quite appreciate when I first used the sim, because obviously I was just flying the aircraft around and we couldn't really get anything to load. But and I'm doing it in my next video, I've got a full flight in the Beluga. We go on like a detailed full flight where we run the whole thing from cold and dark and set up and load it up and everything. And the charts are just built into the sim. They're baked in. I mean, this is really, really fantastic. This is going to make a big difference for a lot of people who I was often getting comments about whether you should get Navigraph and so on. Well, here you have the charts available to you. And not only that, it loads in the ones that are going to be relevant for your flight. Now, it shouldn't probably bother loading in some of the charts. I'll talk about that later. It does load in a few extra ones, but it does load in the star that you've selected in your flight planning software, and it puts it in the charts of the library. It's great. If you watch my next video on the Beluga, where I go through that full flight, you'll see how to use it. I might make a separate video on it as well. It's taken me a while to get used to, but it's a really, really powerful tool, and it's possibly one of the best upgrades 2024 has had for free. This flight planning and Working Title have done an astonishing job bringing it all into the sim. So thank you to them for their hard work on it, because it's paying off. that you can load it in, you can see the routes, you can adjust the routes in such an intuitive way, all in the sim. It's available to everyone. I love that. And this is where Working Title have really brought it together. And the avionics on their aircraft include some of these features, and it's just fantastic. It's just a shame that the 747 is still broken. And this is an interesting one to me. As you can see here, the 747 just doesn't work, and I don't know why. It's not a streaming. I thought it was a streaming error, but no, the sounds aren't downloading. The aeroplane just doesn't seem to work for me on the exterior model. The interior does, and the flight deck works, but I can't get much else to work with it. The wingplex doesn't work, and I don't understand why. If anyone can help me with that, let me know. But my interpretation of it is that it is, it seems to be a bug somewhere in the system, because all the other aircraft are loading in very quickly and no trouble now on my home Wi-Fi. So I don't know what's going on with that. Fingers crossed they can fix that one. And it's interesting, I didn't see it in the top list of bug reports, but I wonder if that's because it's they're included only in the Premium Deluxe, not the Standard Edition, so perhaps it's not getting the exposure. But I really want those 747s working. We haven't had a 400 in a flight sim for a long time, and these are really well done flight decks, really nice avionics, so I'm excited, and it's a bit of a shame that they're not really usable right now. Next up, they talk about the updates coming soon. So there's World Update 19, which is going to be Brazil, and unfortunately that's delayed, but that's understandable while they fix the other things we've been complaining about, so I think that is a reasonable step. And then we've got some local legends coming, and this is what's really nice. They've decided to provide 4 free aircraft coming up, which is a real treat. So they've also going to work on the big sim updates that they've got coming. I think they wanted 1 per quarter, and then we've also got surprises, 2 surprises they've listed here, so they seem very excited about that, so I'm excited for that as well. We had some great surprises in 2020. We had Dune, we had Top Gun. These are really fun things that added in, so I'm excited to see what they've managed to pull out the bag for 2024 sim. 4 new aircraft coming as a bit of a thank you or apology, I suppose, or make-up they call it, for what happened with the launch. And I actually think this is very good of them. They didn't need to do this, and these are not just low quality aircraft either. We're getting a Cessna 185F famous flyer and a Cap 4. Now Cap 4 will be a really cool airplane, should be pretty aerobatic, and then we've got the famous flyer Cessna 185, which is going to be a bit retro, I think, tail dragger. I think that would be really good fun for some bush flying as well. So 2 iconic airplanes just included for free, and 2 more to come. They say they don't know what they are yet, but really exciting just to get them included for free. I mean, that's really good of them, I think. As a way of making up for the launch. I think they've been very open and nice about it. So overall, where are we now at this stage, a few weeks into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Well, we can now get access to the sim. It does work well, and there are clear improvements to both the handling of the aircraft and the quality of the default aircraft. That's just obvious to everyone, I think. They are really super. I think the weather is excellent, aside from the turbulence. They need to turn down the general turbulence. The realistic setting is ridiculous. You just can't fly. These are minor and fixable bugs that you can ignore them and get going in the sim even without that. My big issue at the moment for me personally is these Premium Deluxe aircraft need to be upgraded or fixed, basically. The 747s have so much potential, and the Working Title efforts have been really great, so let's get those sorted, please. And also being able to download the aircraft, which it sounds like it is coming. They've delivered a lot of information very quickly to us, and they've been very open about it, and I'm really impressed with that. I'm confident that Asobo will sort this simulator out, and probably pretty quickly as well, given how hard they seem to be working on it. And to include these famous flyers, I think is a really nice perk to give us as a bit of a thank you. I think that's really nice of them, and I think everyone's going to enjoy those as well, because one's made by Carinado, one by Builds, both good developers who have made some of the best default airplanes we have at the moment. So I'm excited for that. And I'm really excited to see these world updates and the surprises that they got in store for 2025. But overall, the sim, as I think you can tell from my tone in this video, I'm really impressed with it. Despite that rocky launch, it's got amazing depth. We've got some serious charts and avionics already built into the sim and working, and the handling has been improved all round. Lots of the things I was really hoping for have been delivered on. Let's just get these bugs smoothed out, and let's get it so I can download it and run it when I'm not on Wi-Fi. That would be amazing. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you again to Asobo for putting up that stream. All the screenshots in today's video have been taken from there, so that's all credited to them. And we will see you again in another video or live stream. Like I say, full flight in the Beluga coming soon, and we'll be taking more of the airplanes for detailed full flights very shortly. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.